The Power Play Post Show is on the air, covering minor league hockey since 2003, and now covering the Binghamton Black Bears with news, reactions, and in-depth interviews only heard here. And now, from the Box Studios in Kirkwood, New York, here are your hosts of the Power Play Post Show, Bob Howard and Taylor Welch.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Power Play Post Show. This is the show for February 5th, 2026. This is season 15, episode number 43, and episode number 557 in the long-running podcast. It is the Power Play Post Show. And, folks, we have them. That's right. You're going to hear in about 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes, you're going to hear from the Sarge himself, Gehrett Sargis, and I had a conversation earlier today, and you are going to get to hear about 60% of it. Yeah, I got to keep some of that stuff to myself. But yes, that's right. Gehrett Sargis will be on the show, and I am very excited for you guys to hear about that. I am Bob Howard. She is
Taylor Welch.
Taylor. So we got him. The Sarge is on the show. Are you a little bit excited to hear this one, maybe?
I think everybody's excited to hear this one. I don't know if I can say I'm as excited as Jeremy is, because he's pretty much been his number one fan since he showed up. I mean, if he fought, that would just definitely, top tier. I don't think anybody could push him out of the way after that.
Right.
But yeah, I think everybody's excited about this. And the fact that you already mentioned he's going to be on the show, I'm sure people already skipped past this part and they're not even listening anymore,
No,
They want to get to the real juicy stuff.
No, we have some good stuff to talk about, some important stuff to talk about, because I think just like the Binghamton Black Bears are not thinking about Indiana until Thursday or Friday of this week, and they're still looking at and trying to correct the things that went down against the Twin City Thunderbirds, and maybe even a little bit of what happened with PD. I think it's still important for us to still talk about those couple games, because I think people are probably still trying to figure out what happened, what went down. And, I know some people took offense to something that I said, after Friday night's game, about players not being here, because people were making comments, right, Taylor? People said that we were losing these games because of Tyson Kirkby and Zach Sirota and Connor McAnanima weren't here. However, Dominic Tomei has got 16 wins on the season. We played a significant part of the season without Tyson Kirkby in as captain playing on the team, and Zach Sirota was out for like 7 or 8, maybe 10 games as well. So I know people had a hard time with what I said about Tyler or Tyson not playing, but I don't think those were the reasons why we lost those games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think logically thinking people understood that, that's not obviously the reason that we lost. I think it was just, it's an easy way to be like, oh, looking at a roster, we're missing our captain, we're missing, the rat, we're missing, the MVP of last year. So it's so much easier to put blame on that and be like, well, they're not here, so obviously we lost, than to just be like, they tried their best, but unfortunately Carolina was just better this time. And again, Carolina hasn't won against us in quite some time. So, I mean, it was bound to happen eventually, I'm sure. It just happened to happen this past weekend. And when you start seeing comments like that happening, and, as you just mentioned, we did play a good portion of the beginning of the season. I mean, Tyson played one game and then he was on the IR after that for quite some time.
2 months.
And, he was on the bench, but as a player coach, and he did his job there, but he wasn't on the ice, and we were still winning games. Same thing with Zach Sirota. He was on the IR for quite a while. We've had Tomei's played, as you said, 16 games, so that obviously means Connor wasn't in that. So it's not that we haven't played games without these people. And I mean, of course you want them in your lineup. They're fantastic people. Of course you want them there. It's just how this season has gone. And sometimes people are hurt and sometimes they go play other places. It happens.
Yeah, I think
when you start seeing comments like that, it almost made me want to go on there and be like, oh, we lost because we didn't have Mac Lewis or Blake Tosto or Matthew Boilard or, people that haven't been with us for quite some time. And just to be like, because that's how it made me feel, is to like blame players that weren't playing. Just, I don't know. It just made me feel weird.
Yeah.
To put blame on people that weren't like it. was in no way their fault for not being here.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense. And as I've said, yes, we are better with Tyson than we are without Tyson. However, it doesn't mean that because Tyson wasn't here is the reason why we lost. The reason why we lost those games against PD and against Twin City is very simple. In some cases, a lot of it, they outplayed us and they took advantage of our mistakes. That is something that Brant Sherwood just said on the Tully's Good Time show. They took advantage of Binghamton Black Bears mistakes. And if they can correct those mistakes, if they can nip those, mistakes in the bud, then they would be able to come back and obviously, go and win. Now, last weekend, Indiana got 2 wins in a row. Obviously, on a 2-game winning streak, and the Black Bears on a 3-game losing streak. Somebody's streak is either going to get extended, and both would get extended if Indiana won, or they would both come to an end and change in a different direction. But they had to play those games on the ice. Everett Thompson's trying to make a team be a little bit more defensive-minded, and now the Black Bears have to figure out how to stop odd man rushes, because I think that's the thing that really killed them the most, Taylor, last weekend, was, giving up odd man rushes and just allowing Twin City to just kind of move the puck without any resistance, so to speak.
Yeah, I think odd man rushes have kind of been a theme this year so far. It seems like every game there's been at least one odd man rush. And, for the most part, they're able to either catch up and stop it, or, the netminder has been able to make the save as much as they can. But I think, I feel like we've seen quite a lot of them. Yeah. And I feel like most of them have come from Watertown, honestly. I mean, I get it. We've played Watertown the most and we'll play them the most. But I think we're fortunate enough that playing Watertown, we can match the speed there. With some of these other teams, we can't match the speed with everybody on the team. Yeah.
All right. Black Bears and Power Play Post Show fans, the 11 by poster giveaway is back here for you on the Power Play Post Show. We've got your favorite Black Bears player like Dan Stone, Jacob Shankar, or Ivan Bondarenko, and now you've got a chance to bring home them or any other Black Bears player in a big way. We're giving away an 11 by 14 player poster, printed, sharp, and ready to hang. Here's how it works. At some point during the show tonight, we're going to drop the special code phrase. When you hear it, send that code phrase directly to Taylor via direct message on Facebook. And just like calling in to win contests, if you're the first person or the 5th person or whichever number we choose in the episode, boom, you win. If you win, we will have your poster printed and ready for you at a future game. You can choose any current Black Bears player you want. We'll be doing this regularly. So if you don't win this week, keep listening for the next chance. Stay locked in and get ready. That code phrase is coming up later in the show. Now, Taylor, next week, you're going to be on vacation.
I am going to be on vacation, but it's okay because we're playing out in Port Huron. So
yes, so we are going to put a pause on the contest for next week, and we will resume it when you get back. But when we come back, what I'm thinking is, because we missed a week, maybe we should have 2 winners in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I'm sure they would absolutely love that.
Yep. But so coming up later on in the show, we are going to give you the code phrase and the special number that you will have to be before you can be a winner, and which will be pretty cool. So far, people have picked Dan Stone, Jacob Shankar, and Ivan Bondarenko as their posters. And Taylor, those posters have come out so awesome. They look great, and everybody has loved them.
Yeah, I've had a blast doing this. I have most of the players done. I think in total so far, I actually have like 7 completely done. But, my system's all set up, and all I have to do is plug a picture on there and get it all set up to go. And it literally takes, I think, 3 seconds to have it printed. Like by the time I hit send, I get an email that it's done and I can come collect it. So that's awesome. But it's been a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed kind of giving them out, per se. even though, the last time she was very excited to get away from us to go into the player corner. But I get it. I get it. You want to go see the players.
Yes,
And,
yes.
we're not that exciting when it comes to the hockey arena.
Yes.
We're exciting to listen to on Sunday and Thursday, but when it comes to being at the arena, you want to go see the players. I understand that.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad that the players are enjoying it as well, and I'm hoping to kind of see what everybody else keeps picking from here on out and how many different players we get by the end of the season.
Yeah, that would be great to see how many different players we get. And I do want to say, once again, if you won in previous weeks, please let new people win. We'd like to get as many new winners as we can before the end of the season. But this has been such a blast to see the people come up, get the picture, and then of course I take a picture of you and the winners, which is pretty awesome. I think I'm going to start actually a album in the Power Play Post Show Facebook group of all of our winners. I think that would be very, very cool. And if you get a picture with the player as he signs the poster, please send us that picture so we can put that into the album as well. I think it would be very cool to have that there. I think you got a picture of the young Bondarenko. So you'll have to send that over to me if you haven't already, and I'll get that into an album sometime within the next couple of days, because I think that will be very cool to kind of collect those and put them there. It's just a great thing that we can do and give back to the fans who listen to the show.
Yeah, it's almost more exciting for me to receive the picture of the fan with their player and the poster itself than to actually give the poster away. I don't know, it's just so much more exciting to know like the players are involved and they're signing this kind of stuff, and it's not something that's just like openly out there, and it's something that we actually do and provide. It's been a lot of fun.
It really has. It really has. So, and I appreciate you starting this. This was such a great idea by you. I know that at one point we actually discussed doing players cards as well. At one point, I think it was last year, right? Near the end of the year, you were thinking about doing players cards, came up with a few designs, but I really like this for a poster to design. It just came out so nice.
Yeah, I mean, I've played around with a lot of different things, and this one, it just, I don't know, I liked it the best, and it just seemed like it fit a poster feel to me. And I've had a fair share of designing some stuff. I've done quite a few race car themed things for other people, and a lot for Jeremy. So I've kind of used to getting stuff set up and looking how I want it to look. And this one, it's been a process getting it to how exactly we wanted it, but I'm so glad, the product that we have now is the one that's going around. And it's been a blast.
Good.
And I'm very excited every week to kind of see who messages me and to have the repeat people that are, always messaging me and hoping that they're the winners. It's been really fun. And I've made a lot of like friends, honestly, through it, because even the people that message about the code word, they'll continue to have a conversation with me afterwards. So it's been a great way to get to know some of the fans, and I'm excited for this week.
Perfect. Awesome.
The Power Play Post Show relies on your support to grow. If you're listening on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and like the episode. Those actions help YouTube recommend the show to more hockey fans, expanding our reach and supporting future content. Subscribe and like to help the show continue moving forward.
All right. The Power Play Post Show is available on all major podcast platforms. Apparently, I can't say the word podcast today.
I think we're both struggling on certain words.
Wow. Including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app, and don't forget to subscribe. Join the conversation on Facebook. Search for Power Play Post Show and become part of our community. Be sure to like, comment, and share your latest episodes with your friends. Looking for everything Binghamton Hockey? Visit binghamtonhockey.net. And coming up on this episode of the Power Play Post Show, he is the elder statesman, so to speak. And we had a conversation about this in the interview. From the Binghamton Black Bears, he is forward Gehrett Sargis. So very excited for people to get to hear that interview. But you really should listen to what we're going to talk about next.
So we're going to talk about some notes from Brant Sherwood on the Tilly's Coaches Show. On the 2 losses to Twin City this past weekend, which led to a 3-game losing streak, he said he is not worried about the team because the heart and effort was there, which is something that you and I have talked about quite a bit about the losses. But he felt there were a lot of mistakes. He said that the Saturday game, the Black Bears had at least 20 plus grade A chances, but did not cash in on them.
All right, so let's talk about that first. Let's go into depth a little bit more about that, because in the 3-game losing streak, I think the thing that you and I wanted to make sure that we emphasize to the fans the most, the heart and the effort was completely there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could see it game after game. I know originally when you see a team losing, especially one like the Black Bears that, we haven't lost hardly ever. I mean,
In the
honestly,
last 2 years.
it's really, especially back to back, it's not something that, we've done. But I think initially when you see your team losing, part of you wonders, like, are they just going to lay down and let it happen? Or are they going to do everything they possibly can to try to come back and, get the win or make whatever they can do in the last couple minutes worth the effort? And I think that's what we saw is, the last 5 minutes, I think, is probably their hardest effort that they've given during games.
Right.
And it is unfortunate that, it happened in the last 5 minutes. And, that's when they really put in, the afterburners and really tried. And it came up a little bit short, but it definitely shows that this team, they don't want to lose, and they're going to give their all in every game.
And let's also give credit where credit's due, Taylor, right? PD and Twin City both played 3-4 outstanding games where they deserve to win as well. They cashed in on mistakes and opportunities that the Black Bears gave them. And you cannot take that away from those two teams at all.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. And I think that's kind of part of the reason that it was almost funny to me for to kind of see the excuses that people were coming up with.
Yeah.
For why the Black Bears lost, because it definitely wasn't for a lack of effort. The effort was there, the heart was there. It's just the other team happened to play better, and it showed by the end of the game, which is the only score that matters is what's up on the scoreboard, and they were just ahead.
And the other thing that I want to bring up is, they talked about Connor McAnanama not being here, our MVP goalie from last year. Let's be perfectly honest. Like Dominic Tomei and Wyatt Freelander up until this past weekend had played so outstanding. That's kind of disrespectful to say that we lost because we didn't have Connor McAnanama. And it's unfortunate that people resorted to that because it's disrespectful to the other two goaltenders that have been here the whole season and who have performed well as well.
Yeah, I think it also kind of goes against Connor McAnanama too, to be like, that this team can't win unless he's here. And that's definitely not the case. It's not all on the goaltender. It's not all on the team. You guys have to work together. It has to be a team effort. And so it's funny that as you've seen throughout the comments happening kind of back and forth, is it's almost like they're trying to put blame on one person.
Yeah.
And it's not the case. It's a team effort through and through. You can't put the blame, even if they could have lost and it was the worst game in history. They could have, the other team, Carolina could have put up 14 goals and us nothing. And it could have been the absolute worst game in Fed history.
Mm-hmm.
You still can't blame the goalie on that. It has to be a team effort. You have to rely on everybody out there on the ice that's for your team.
Yeah.
And if they're not working together, that's what's going to happen.
Exactly. All right. So let's talk about the next point that he made.
Zach Sirota and Tyson Kirkby are expected back next week. He praised both of their play with Peoria and Roanoke from this past weekend.
Now, what's interesting about this, I'm sure most fans did see this as it came across the SPHL wire. Earlier today, as we recorded this here on Wednesday evening, Zach Sirota was put on the 14-day IR by Peoria. Now, Taylor kind of brought up a good point that was this a massaging of the roster a little bit, being that Cade Henry also came back from the IR today to Peoria. So it's kind of interesting. But Brant did say Zach and Tyson were going to be expected back next week. If a guy goes on the IR, I'm guessing he could probably still leave the team and come here to Binghamton if he wanted to. I think it was an interesting comment that he made. about Zach and Tyson coming back. Not that I don't believe him, that he thinks that they're coming back. But then when Zach goes on the IR today, that was the interesting part. It's a little confusing. Hopefully there's some clarity on this by the end of the weekend, and we know one way or another, Zach's okay and he comes back or whatever it might happen.
Yeah, and let's be honest, there's been no shortage of confusion throughout this entire season with, the different wording of things on the transaction pages or whatever might happen.
Yeah.
It's had its fair share of confusion for sure. And that was the first thing that I noticed was, Zach was out there initially because Peoria was down quite a few guys from either call-ups or injuries.
Right.
So with Sirota on their team, they had a full roster. And so now Henry's off the IR. So somebody's got to go on or get released. And if you are a logical person, you're probably thinking, well, you don't want to you don't want to release Sirota because somebody else might pick him up and then you have to face against him. And nobody wants to do that.
Right.
You want Sirota on your team. There's no, you want to release him and watch him go, come into your arena and, beat his old team. Nobody wants that.
Right.
So yeah, definitely to me, it seemed like it was a good old switcheroo and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see kind of what happens next.
I agree. The next point, which I think is very interesting because I found out that they did not. No. Go to the next point. Let's talk about the next one.
They will not look at film of Indiana until Thursday or Friday. They are still currently looking at the weekend games and working on the mistakes they made versus Twin City. Okay,
now read the next part as well because how I want to comment on this applies to both.
Black Bears did practice on Monday, only taking off Sunday. Lots of weeks they have Mondays off.
Okay, so what was interesting about that is that they did not practice today on Wednesday. I'm not sure why, but when I spoke to Brooks Hill about getting Gehrett Sargis on, his response back to me was, well, they had Wednesday off, but I reached out to Gehrett and, blah, blah, blah. Here's the time that he would like to do the interview. So it was interesting that they practiced on Monday and Tuesday and that they didn't practice today because usually Wednesday is a pretty heavy practice day for them. And then Thursday and Friday, they're going to be looking at film of Indiana. What this tells me, though, is that the players came in on Monday and Tuesday and they worked their tails off. And then Brant decided to give them off on Wednesday because they worked so hard. And maybe they worked on a lot of details from this previous games against Twin City that really got him comfortable enough that he gave them off today, and then they'll be back on Thursday and Friday working to get ready for Indiana. I just found it was very interesting that he did that, and I still like the fact that they still got an extra day off this week like they normally do.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like, if they got the day off today that, whatever they needed to work on, it got worked on. And, there's no sense in it, a phrase that often gets used for various things, beating a dead horse. Like if you work on it and you practice it, there's no sense in overdoing it because you don't want to take out too much of the energy so you don't have anything coming into the weekend games.
Yeah. So let's talk about the weekend games just for a second with Indiana. I know we're going to preview that up in just a little bit, but what are we expecting for this weekend against the Indiana Sentinels? I'll be honest with you, Taylor. My thought process is on this is that we're going to see them go in and they're going to have a dominant performance on Friday. I truly think that there's no way that they go into that game on Friday. I don't feel like they get beat 4-3 or 3-2 or anything like that. I feel like they go in wanting to regain that dominance, that confidence, that cockiness almost to a degree, that they go in there and they get a very dominant win over Indiana, especially on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that statement. I also think it's important for the fan base as well, just because of how last weekend had gone and even the previous weekend had ended. I think it's definitely something that's important. There's so much of the fan base is always going to be super supportive, but that arena is so loud when the Black Bears are having a good game.
Yeah.
And I truly think that the fan energy I think they feed off of that. I think both teams feed off the fan energy, and they can feel that, they can sense it. And I think it truly produces in that arena. So I think they need to come in Friday with the domination that they had at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think their reaction to the 3-game losing streak is just they're going to come back out, and I think Brant mentioned this in the Tully's Good Time show. They're going to put their work boots on and get back to work, and they're going to come back and do Black Bears hockey like they knew it. I think the reaction to that is very important. Taylor, I have a question for you. I think I asked this last weekend after they had lost the game to PD. Who's going to step up this upcoming weekend, right? We already know that Mac Jansen, I mean, they're all working hard. There's a lot of effort. So don't take this question badly, anybody, anywhere. But who's going to step up this upcoming weekend? Because we know Mac Jansen, and we know that CJ Stubbs and Ivan Bondarenko, they've all been scoring. Gavin Yates been scoring, right? But out of the guys that are sometimes on that third line, maybe, or that 10 forward, Kyle Steffen, Jacob Shankar, Gehrett Sargis, Emerson Emery, guys who maybe don't always put the puck in the back of the net. Who do you think is going to step up and help contribute, get that secondary scoring going that the Black Bears are going to need?
My initial thought would be Gavin Yates, just because he's so good on, the specialty teams. And, he's had so many power play goals and just of that nature. But I also feel like Shankar is starting to, kind of shine pretty good. I think he makes some good plays, and I think he's going to start opening up scoring pretty good. And he lays some good hits, so I can't take that away from him either.
I think
he's always doing something on the ice, whether it's, he's got the puck, he's laying a hit, or he's getting, some kind of point or goal or something or other. There's always something happening when he's on the ice.
Yeah, I think he's starting to get his wheels going again underneath him. And that's the hardest part when you're on IR and you come back. You definitely need to get your legs going again. And I think he's finally starting to do that. By the end of the Twin City, I didn't see any difference between those games versus the beginning of the season games that we saw from Shankar. Big games come from different places. Sometimes big games could be a big hit. Right? We could see a good big hit out of Kyle Steffen that turns into something that turns into a goal. Same thing with Gehrett Sargis. Sometimes it's not necessarily a goal. Maybe it's a primary assist that's just huge, but it could also be a hit as well. That's where Emerson Emery could come in and go out there and hit 3 or 4 guys in a shift, and then boom, the first line goes out there and scores a goal. So big games stepping up means different things, but I could definitely see any one of those guys having those type of, big games for us.
I also think that not even just the forward side, but I think Dan Weber is I feel like he's been, stepping up and kind of doing some good things on the ice as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Weebs. Listen, I want Weebs to score a goal and not have it reviewed. That would just be so nice. To score.
Hasn't he had one?
I think he's had one. Yeah. It's just.
I think he finally got one.
Yeah, where it didn't have to be reviewed, and that would be great. But also on the defensive side, listen, also Scotty Romakers. There's another guy that I think can have a big game this weekend that could really help the Black Bears. And, listen, it comes from every single one of these guys that go out there, they put out their effort, the heart and soul, and then boom, they just got to have one of those big moments in one of these games that will change the tide of the game for the Black Bears, and I think they can do it.
Yeah, definitely. And I know if Jeremy's listening at this point, he's going to look at me and say, I told you so, because he's been saying that since, I don't know, probably game 1, to be honest. Something that's always on his mind is always.
All right, Taylor, let's go to our interview now with Gehrett Sargis. I know everyone's been excited about this. So coming up next here on the Power Play Post Show, Gehrett Sargis. We'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Hi, this is Don Biggs from the 92-93 Binghamton Rangers. Hi, this is Brandon Bolchinski.
This is Grady Wittenberg, the voice of the Binghamton Senators, and you're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
here is another Power Play Post Show interview exclusive with Bob Howard.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. Great to have this gentleman on. I was a little nervous about talking to him, because he is the Sarge, and we see how he is out there on the ice, but he seems to be a very amazing gentleman. He comes to us from the Binghamton Black Bears. He is Gehrett Sargis. Sarge, welcome to the show. It's so glad to have you on. I am honored to be able to talk to you. You've had such a great career, and Brant Sherwood speaks highly of you. So I know this is going to be a good interview.
Oh, I appreciate it, Bob. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about it. You are from the Chicago area. Can you talk a little bit about your hometown and where you're from?
Yeah, from the south suburbs, probably 35 minutes south of the city. And yeah, not a whole lot to do there. You got to find stuff. But when I was a kid, just, was always out and about with friends, whether playing basketball, riding bikes, getting into trouble or, whatever that is. Not a whole lot, but that was where I grew up. We got a big families, and so everyone lives in Chicago for the majority of it now. The families have expanded, cousins, nephews, nieces, and so it's been a great place to be able to grow up.
Did you start playing hockey young, or did you start skating late? What was the time frame for you? From what my mom said, I think my dad definitely played. And I guess when I was a kid, I would just always, I think when I was crawling, I would crawl into his hockey bag and play with, take out whatever equipment, and was always, curious and interested. And so, that's how, that kind of started. And then I played a lot of roller hockey when I was actually living in Florida. And so there wasn't really a whole lot of ice back then and rinks. So I started roller skating and roller blading and just played in the neighborhood with a bunch of buddies. And then when we moved back to Chicago, I was probably 5. I was 5 years old, and I got into learn to skate, which came pretty easy. And then, I just wanted to continue to play. And so the Madre got me all set up with gear. And there was an organization, it's called St. Jude, that was 10 minutes from us, so not far at all. And that's kind of where I started my hockey journey. Now, you said St. Jude, correct? Is that the same St. Jude that we all think about?
No.
Okay.
The St. Jude Hospital. No, different. Different organization. Just ironic, the same name.
But they concentrate on teaching kids how to skate and play hockey, right?
Yeah, well, there's I don't even think it was part of that organization. I think it's just, people at the rink where, you do your, learn to skate license type thing. And you kind of assess where you should be, whether it's house or travel or, double A. And they kind of, hook you up, set you up, and then, place you, wherever you need to be. So they did a really good job of helping that kind of give you direction. I had a single mom, and so she had no idea. She's like, we want to play. And so just kind of supported, and, she helped me out, get going.
Oh, I understand the single mom situation, especially with playing sports. She would work 2 jobs for me. She would work 2 jobs just so I could be able to play certain sports like baseball and hockey and things of that nature. So I totally understand that. Now, in the 90s, when you were really young, was it easy or hard in Chicago or in that area to find ice? Obviously, the Blackhawks have been around for a long time, and you would think there would be a lot of good youth programs. But what was it like in the 90s for youth hockey for you to get into it?
I think it was awesome. It was incredible, and they had a good amount of, rinks and levels, leagues, and stuff. And it was incredible back then. So I was grateful for the time that I started, and to be able to play. And, I had really good competition, a lot of really good organizations in Chicago.
Now, for you, was there competition for other sports? In other words, did you play football? Did you play baseball, basketball, any of the other sports, or was it always hockey at first?
No, at first, no. I think I played 1 year of soccer, t-ball, but no, I played everything. I played baseball, played football, hockey. I actually played one college lacrosse game with my younger brother, which was like one of the coolest things I was able to do, which was a blast. Boxed for a little bit when I was younger, and that was fun. That was cool. And then, just, played basketball, not on a team, but just with buddies in the neighborhood. And as far as that, I think that's it as far as sport wise.
Now, I fans would probably kill me if I didn't ask. What position did you play in football?
We weren't that great of. It's funny, we weren't that great of an organization. It was like a smaller town kind of where I grew up. So I actually did a little bit of everything. It was majority running back. I threw on a couple plays, caught on a couple plays, was linebacker. And then, I kicked as well.
Okay, I'm not surprised that you were a linebacker or a running back with the way you're built. I don't know how built you were back then, but I'm going to guess that it started at some point early enough in life. What about boxing? That's an interesting mention that you boxed a little bit. Was that something that was ever a serious thought?
No, it's a good question. And I don't even know exactly how. Like my cousin, he's a year older. And I believe, he did it as well. And so I don't know if that's how I got into it, but it was, the next town over. And so it's like every year, maybe you train for like maybe 2 months, and then they would put a ring in this church, and, they'd televise it, and, everyone, would go. And you train for like maybe 2 months, and then they kind of set you up with a partner, like who you're going against. And then but we had huge gloves and stuff at the time, like they were pretty big, so it was more of like just pushing, push punch or whatever. But it was very cool. I loved it, like to have family there. I was definitely got me excited to get out and put everything on the line and be able to have fun. It was a fun time.
How did you do?
Oh, I did well. I did well, but it's funny because just how it matched up is, my cousin was a year older, and then he kind of went with, another kid, and then it was me, and then there wasn't really anybody else. So I fought this kid that was like, double my, weight and size or whatever. And, but yeah, did really well.
Did you beat him, right?
I would have to look at. I think she's got videos and stuff. We'll just say, yeah, who knows? But I did well, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. When did hockey become the primary? I talk to guys all the time about this, and some it's at different age groups. But when did hockey become the primary, and you had to stop playing the other sports?
That's a good question. Like you said, I did everything when I was younger, played all the sports. And then, once I got to high school, that's kind of when I stopped and just kind of stuck with hockey. I was recruited to I went to a Catholic high school.
Okay.
And coach was awesome, but I did a summer league and wanted me to play varsity freshman year. So I double rostered, JV and varsity. And so it was just a lot. And, I wanted to have like the summers to be able to hang out, do stuff, hang out with friends. And so that's kind of, high school would be the time that, I kind of just, stuck with hockey and kind of focused on that.
When I've talked to Mac Jansen and to Dean Weber, who are obviously from Minnesota, they both played Minnesota, high school hockey, which is huge up there. It's one of the biggest things that, happens for, kids playing youth hockey. They play Minnesota hockey in high school. What is it like in Chicago playing high school hockey? Because I got to imagine that it's probably pretty competitive as well, kind of like up in Minnesota.
Yeah, so exactly that. So the Catholic League, it was called the Catholic League where I played, and so we were Brother Rice. We played Mount Carmel, Marist, Providence, and so we had just a couple teams that we played that were in the Catholic League, and it was incredible. It was that was like I feel like totally a Minnesota style hockey. And then there's high school hockey where, you have maybe 4 schools that, kind of combine, to the one team. And so, that hockey isn't, I don't think, as competitive. Again, it's been a while, but it wasn't like really a big thing back then. But, the Catholic League that I played against was, I would say so, like comparison to, Minnesota hockey, which, I don't really know too much, but from what I've heard, it's, people grow up, wanting to play for, their high school team. And so it was incredible. It was really good, really competitive, and, really enjoyed it a lot.
Now, after Brother Rice, obviously you started playing junior hockey, and talk about the decision. How does one your age at that point make the decision to start playing junior hockey and where to go?
Well, it's funny because, I've kind of just learned as I've gone. I didn't know anybody that played junior hockey. I've gotten letters during high school from like junior teams leagues, and, had no idea what it was or anything. And so it was just literally just playing high school hockey. And then once that got done, it was like, okay, like what now? Like I still want to play. And so then, got letters and, went to showcases. Like, so at that time, like showcasing, I think, there's some showcases that are, good where, there's a lot of, different coaches, teams. So it's good exposure,
right?
Especially not knowing what to do, what's going on. And so I went to a lot of camps and showcases, and then that's kind of like how the journey started with juniors.
Was there anybody that could help you through that process? Because I got to imagine it's very tough, like maybe your father but was there anybody that could help you through that process, like a coach or somebody that could get you to make sure you go to the right place, or that the decision that you make is the best one for you? Because sometimes that's difficult for young players.
Right. Well, for me, again, I didn't really know too much. I don't think we had like a whole ton of help. I think, my mom's asked like coaches and stuff like that of, if there was anything or what the next step is. But, we just started to, I think, talk to other, families, coaches and stuff, and kind of get an understanding. Again, didn't know anybody that played, and, then had letters. And so then that's kind of how it came about, to like just trying different camps and going to, different teams and, checking it out.
Now, when you were playing junior hockey, I think it was your last season, you played 4 games with Helena, and then you guys went into the playoffs. Talk a little bit about joining that team and only playing 4 games, but then getting to play deep in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, so that year I played in the NA.
Yep.
I was in Janesville, and it was actually funny. I was dating a girl that, played for the Gophers way better than me. And
so she played for the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Yep. Yeah. Oh. And then she also played in the Olympics as well.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyway, she texted me and she's like, hey, I'm sorry about, the trade or what happened. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you got traded.
Wait, she knew before you?
Oh, yeah. And, again, I'm not really on social media, this or that, but I'm like, what in the world? Like, and so then, I went to the coach. I was like, what's going on? I'm like, did I get traded? He's like, yeah. So there was a guy and I that got traded to Helena in Montana. And again, it's like everything happens for a reason. It
Yeah.
was absolutely incredible. So there was a lot going on with, the team, that year. And so it was good, but it wasn't anything that great. And just blessed that it actually happened. So we went up there, had no idea what we were doing. It was, heartbreaking at the time, but we get out there and Montana is beautiful.
Yeah.
So we get out there and play with the team, and absolutely incredible. The guys were awesome. Coach was awesome. It was a great atmosphere. I've never seen anything like it. So they have a bullseye right where the Zamboni is. And so every time, somebody scores, somebody throws a squid on the ice.
Oh my God.
So you got to pick, whoever scores has to pick, the squid up and try to hit the bullseye. And then, there's a goalie at the end of the bench that has a water bottle to spray your hand off, to try to get the stench off. And I'm like, what in the world? But so we played 4 games and then, got into playoffs and made a run and won the championship. And it was, the billets that I had were incredible. And such a short time, great experience.
How important are the billets? I mean, I don't talk enough with the fans. Obviously, we talk about booster clubs all the time, but how important are billets for junior hockey players?
It can make and break a season for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You have good billets and, again, hockey is, there's more to life than hockey. And, it's a big, stress, competing and playing. And, so you have, ups and downs and stuff. And so, life outside of it and stuff, to have a good family and, be able to have fun and enjoy, your time there is, crucial. It's huge.
You guys win the championship, which is pretty awesome. Probably a nice run. You had 13 goals in 11 games. You can't really honestly complain about that. You got to see Montana, which is pretty cool. How do you decide where to go to college then?
So at that time, I think the owner was Mike Butters. He was I want to say he was a scout for Tampa Bay Lightning. And so I wasn't sure what to do, this and that. And so he kind of hooked me up with going to Fort Wayne, which I believe was in like the IHL at the time.
Yep.
And so, I reached out to them and, had like was talking to them. And then, my mom wanted me to go to school. So, talked to a couple of teams, and one of them was Becker. And then it was just kind of late in the summer where it didn't work out. Then I talked to Fort Wayne, and the camp was full. And then it was just kind of fell into Robert Morris. I had buddies that I had a couple people that I knew that played there previously. And that's how I kind of got into it. It was, really late in the summer. And that's how I got to Robert Morris.
When you think back to that moment when you made the decision to go to Robert Morris and maybe not pursue pro at that time, right? Are you happy that you made that decision? Was that 4 years the right 4 years for you to be in college?
Yeah, I'm kind of like a nonchalant, go with the flow. And no, I don't regret anything. I had an absolute blast. Again, we had an incredible team. The division actually that I was in for Robert Morris, I would say maybe everyone except for maybe one team. I think they were all top 10 in the nation. So it was really competitive. And we had a great group of guys. The staff, coaches and stuff, they did really well into, making it a good program. And so, we had a blast, and it was perfect timing because the Blackhawks used to practice there, and then the Chicago Steel played there. The Blackhawks went to Johnny's Ice House. So the Steel took over the Hawks' old locker room. We took the Steel's locker room, and it was like literally the locker room was the whole side of, the one side of the ice rink or whatever, as long as the rink. And so we had, great locker room. We had a sauna, a lounge area, we got to play ping pong, had that set up, a little bit of weights and stuff. And so it was a good, place to hang out and, and play.
For fans who don't know, the Chicago Steel are a USHL organization, which is a junior team that plays in Chicago. Been around since, I think, 2000, if I remember correctly. They've been around for a very long time, which is pretty cool. So that's a lot of great, and it kind of makes sense to me, Gehrett, because a lot of times when I talk to a lot of players, they'll say in the summertime, oh yeah, I'll be on the ice in the summertime working out with college players, with ECHL, AHL, and NHL players, and it's like, but don't tell anybody who the NHL guys that I work out with. But it's a small family, the hockey world is, right? And I think that a lot of players, whether it's NHL or USHL or major junior guys, they don't care about what level you're playing at. They just really enjoy playing the game, the majority of the time. And that's why in the off season, you can work out with a lot of those guys because it's really not about ego at that point.
Right. Yeah. It's, I love the summer. The summer is great. If you get hooked up with, a good group, skating, say working out, there's nothing like it. It's, you get to be on the ice, it's, less pressure. You get to work on, your craft, get better. And yeah, it's so much fun usually in the summer to, be able to work out, train and, skate. And so that's something that, you're 100% right. Definitely enjoy.
The Danville Dashers tried to come back this past year, and it did not go so well for the organization there. But you were there when the organization was one of the best in the FE at that time, the FHL, but it's still the FPHL. You guys won the championship in 2017, if I remember correctly. But you had some pretty good years there. Can you talk a little bit about Danville, Illinois, and just playing in that rink? I think it's the Palmer Arena.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, it's funny. There's places that you go to that are amazing, and you don't have much fun, because of the hockey. And then you go to places where it's not that great. Like Danville, there's not a whole lot to do, but we had a blast. And again, that was because of the coach, which is actually funny, Harrison, on Carolina. So, he kind of, that was both of our first year there. It was mine and his, first year. And, we had a core group, that has played there the previous years. And, we kind of stuck with that the past, the 3 years that was there. And then, we had, new guys that came in that were great. But anyways, we had a really good time, because of them, the coach, the guys. And so it was a good time. And then also, because of that, we built an incredible fan base. And we actually, most games we packed the place. And so it was fun, that was my, first kind of 3 years of pro. And it was a good experience with playing there, and definitely an older place, but it was cool at the time. I definitely enjoyed it.
What was it like to win a championship with them?
Awesome. The first year we played, I think Watertown in the championship my first year, and we lost. And so that was tough. We were missing a couple guys that were called up. So that, hurt. But then, the second year got knocked out, and then, had the right people. Everyone, was there, for my last year there. And, to win a championship with the guys that, you started with, good core group is really special.
Now, you had a taste of the SPHL, obviously, that season before you guys won the championship. But then after the championship, you played 4 games with Danville, but then you really kind of like settled in with the Knoxville Ice Bears. And, you know, tell me a little bit about the difference between the FPHL and the SPHL then, now back then, compared to what you know about the FPHL today. But back then, there was a larger discrepancy of what people thought about the play on the ice, the players, the type of hockey you were going to get back then versus today. Can you talk a little bit about that difference between the FPHL and the SPHL back in the late teens?
Yeah, really, I mean, not a whole lot. Every level that you go up, I think it's just, you know, the consistency.
Yeah.
Right. You know, your first line to your last line, you know, there's more depth in it. And, you know, that's really it. I mean, you know, it's little things, you know, strength wise, but, you know, it's not like anybody is, you know, that much faster, you know, that much stronger. You know, it's just, you know, I would say, you know, hockey IQ, and then, you know, just more depth, right? Like you go to, you know, the ECHL, right? It's even, you know, more deep, you know, then you go to, you know, AHL, NHL. And again, you know, obviously, you know, the NHL, you know, the guys are so skilled nowadays. It's wild, you know, and they have, you know, it is that much better. But, you know, as far as SP, you know, a little bit, you know, tougher too. You know, back then, you know, there were a lot more, you know, tough guys and stuff back then. But other than that, I would say, you know, just depth, you know, depth would be a big part of that.
Has the two leagues come closer together overall? Now that you played here, you've got 19 games in with the Black Bears. Is the play closer now in the FPHL than it ever was with the SPHL? I mean, you just guys played against, obviously, you know, Twin City and of course PD, who, you know, they came with their A game and they played, you know, as good as they could against you guys and put you guys on a 3-game bender. Has the quality of play in the FPHL gotten better?
Yeah, it's a funny thing. You know, it's like yes and no. Like when I, you know, was playing my first 3 years, it was really good. It was there were a lot of really good teams, really competitive, and the same as now. You know, it's just the game's changed a little bit. You know, more. That's really about it. But yeah, the top teams in the FPHL absolutely can, you know, rival and, you know, hang with, you know, teams there, and so. You know, it's interesting. That's like the talk is like, oh, you know, like, you know, can they hang this and that? And, you know, I definitely think so. And again, you know, the biggest thing is depth, but, you know, there's a lot of good teams in this level, in this league.
You have about 85 games in the ECHL that you've played. And, I talk all the time and I tell people, you know, when they ask what the difference is between single A, double A, you know, AAA and the NHL, I said a lot of it is the speed of the game, but you've already kind of said to me that you don't know if the speed of the game is necessarily different, but more the depth on the lines. But it is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is. You know what? There's, you know, and again, there's times, you know, even like the NHL, you see guys where, you know, they have a ton of time.
Yeah.
Right. They have a ton of time and you're like, how is not anybody on them? And, you know, same thing with this league. But more consistently, you know, you don't have a whole lot of time, you know,
sure.
you know, say the SP, you know, ECHL, even here. But I think it's more consistent with that, you know, let's say the gap from D and, you know, they have, you know, a lot closer of a gap. So you don't have a whole lot of time, you know, and it's just recognizing, you know, situations, being able to anticipate, you know, where, guys do close on you or you don't have that much time. So it is, you know, quicker, you know, the game is, you know, a little bit quicker for sure.
When was the first time you met Brant Sherwood?
Actually met him was in Columbus.
Okay.
I played against him, but that was the first time meeting him, I
Now,
believe.
What was he like playing against him? I've heard he was a little bit of a pain in the ass on the ice, maybe to other people. Is that really the case about Brant on the ice? When he was on the ice playing against you, he was kind of a pain in the butt.
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny. It's funny to see, like, you have like different personas of people, where we were talking about it with Biz, earlier, where, they're different on the ice than off the ice. And, he was just, man, he was a spark. He loved to play. He was very competitive and, wouldn't back down to anybody. And so, he was definitely difficult to play against.
And then, of course, you guys played together in 2020, 2021 with Columbus. Talk a little bit about that team, because you have not just Brant as your head coach now, but other teammates from that team on this team. Talk a little bit about this kind of little mini reunion almost.
Say it again. From when?
From the 2021, from the Columbus team, when you guys were there during the COVID era. There's more than just Brant on that team that's here now. Talk a little bit about that. I think Mac Jansen and a couple other guys, right?
Yeah. Bondo, CJ, and Mac. I believe that was it from here. And that was cool. That was really sweet, to play in the South. Never been to Columbus, Georgia. The weather was beautiful. Minus getting COVID. It was a great time. Bondo, it was awesome, to meet him. And I think, that season really totally elevated, playing with, we had a really good team. We had a lot of good players, and to see him kind of flourish and, take the next step, to the next level, and, watch him and, to see the player that, he was, which is, very similar, but like, to see him now is really cool. But, again, CJ and Mac, just incredible, like just such good players and just incredible people. And so it was a great time.
Did it help make the decision for you to come here a little bit easier because you played with them before?
Oh, definitely. Most definitely. And Sherwood is a huge part of that too. I can't say enough good things about him. And, definitely, absolutely. That was, definitely helped, the decision to come in here.
Do you remember a lot about the playoffs in Roanoke?
Yeah, which we went back to back. Made it to the championship back to back. But yeah.
So I was asked that maybe I should bring this up. How did you get a sunburn during the playoffs?
Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
Please tell that story.
Anytime you can get some free vitamins, it totally balances you out. You feel good. It doesn't help or hurt. You get a nice tan. But that's funny. We were in Huntsville, and it was beautiful out, really nice. And I'm like, okay, let's get some vitamins. Feel healthy, good.
Yeah.
And stayed out a little too long, and I got kind of fried. And
did you fall asleep?
I did. Yeah, I did knock out. Yeah. And then, go ahead.
I know. I was just going to say, I've been there. I've fallen asleep out there in the sun before.
Yeah.
So.
So I played that series just fried. I came in the rink and I tried to make it like not noticeable, but the skin wasn't feeling the greatest.
Now, did it immediately start peeling? Because I could imagine playing hockey, sweating, and then, all the friction of the gear on you. Did it immediately start peeling?
The peeling, I don't think immediately started peeling, but like when you get like that and then it does start to peel, you start to itch all over the place. And so I do remember that. It was very uncomfortable.
Yeah. And you guys won the championship, obviously, in 22-23. At this point, it was becoming a little old hat for you, right? To win, at least every few years in your career, you know, going all the way back even to junior to have that kind of success. How important is that for a young player, for a journeyman, and then even for a veteran to get those kind of championships?
Well, it's a blessing. You know, it doesn't, I mean, there's people that, you know, there's guys that play, you know, their whole life and don't win a championship.
Right.
And so, you know, being able to, you know, it's like, that's why you play. You play to win championships, you know, to play the highest level, you get called up, and then, you know, yeah, to win a championship is a bonus. It's incredible because I mean, you know, it's your buddies. It's who you're with all year, that you're playing and grinding with. And so it means so much. And again, it's a bond that, you know, you never forget and you always have with, you know, your teammates. And so it is, you know, special is an understatement.
No, 100%. You know, before we talk a little bit more about Binghamton, I want to ask you, the last couple seasons you played with the Norfolk Admirals in the ECHL, but on a limited basis. Was there a reason why you only got 21 games in, then 27 games in? How did that play out for you? Because I know you're getting, I don't want to say older, but you are getting older. I mean, you know, and some people start thinking about retirement. You are probably one of the few guys that has gone further in your career playing at this level of hockey than most people. What keeps you going?
Just the love of the game. No, I enjoy it. I love hockey.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's nothing like it. You know, and it's cool. It's you know, it's a beautiful thing. It's a team sport. You know, you can't do it on your own. And so, you know, you need everyone. And, you know, again, when you accomplish it, it's a cool thing.
So obviously here in Binghamton, you've got 19 games in, 5 goals, 8 assists for 13 points, 20 penalty minutes. You're a +9. For you, what has this season been like so far?
Good. It's, you know, been an adjustment, you know, getting back to, you know, this level and, you know, teams and, you know, your teammates and stuff. Sometimes it clicks, sometimes it doesn't, but it's been really good. Just an adjustment is all. But, you know, it's been such a positive, credible experience. It's been really good so far. And yeah, I'm thrilled. I can't wait for what's to come.
I don't want to embarrass you when I say this, but I talked to Chichu Lathlen a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't tell you how much he spoke of you so highly. Just hanging out with you and Mac Jansen and learning to be a pro and just being around you guys. Was that like a little bit of something that you knew you were probably going to take on a little bit, that there were going to be some younger guys that were going to look up to you to learn how to become a pro? Because he thinks absolutely the most of you. Yeah,
well, he's incredible. And it's funny, Mac and I are two different. Mac's funny. He is a funny kid. Mm-hmm. He likes to heckle him a lot, and I'm on the other side. You know, he's the more darker, and I'm, you know, the lighter, but in the best way possible. And, you know, was I anticipating that? I don't know. I think it's something that comes naturally. Again, you know, whatever you want, older, this or that. I love, you know, I like to help. I like to, you know, get better myself. And then, you know, I love, you know, helping others. And so if I can help anybody in any way, and, you know, I've been through it, and I've, you know, had, you know, people that I've, you know, players and guys that I've played with that, you know, have helped out, and it goes a long ways. And so, you know, to give back and be able to help is something that I genuinely like and enjoy.
I have to ask you, let me tell you a story. And this is more to kind of probably embarrass me than it is to embarrass anybody. When Brant told me, because I talked to Brant off the record a lot of times, just to, it gives me information about players and, things that are happening. That's just normal sometimes with media, with coaches, depending on if they get along with them very well, and you obey the rules and I obey the rules. So, Brant and I were talking just before you got to, the Binghamton to come play, and I said, you do realize he's 36 years old and everything. He goes, Bob, he is ripped. If you ever saw him in the gym, you would realize why this is okay. And I have to ask you, has that workout regimen always been a major part of who you are as an athlete?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I enjoy. I enjoy a lot. As far as like longevity, I think, it plays a huge factor in it. Right. And then it's like, you look at, it doesn't matter, basketball, football, hockey, it's the same recipe. What you look at these guys and it's like, how do they get so good?
Yeah.
It's, working out, the training that they do. And so that's, definitely, has been a huge part of it.
Now, we've also heard that John Quenneville, the associate coach of the Binghamton Black Bears, is also a big workout freak. Would you say your workouts rival his or his rival yours?
I don't know. It's funny. Well, when I got here, it was, I think I was sick for like the first month and a half, and it was frustrating to knock off. So I didn't do a whole lot, but that's funny. They got, a good workout group, the staff, Q, Sherwood, Jeets, so they do, he does a great job. He does a great job, and they've been going, really strong and consistent. And so it's fun to see, them, definitely motivates, other guys. And then just recently I've been working out with Dom and, Chichu.
Yeah.
And so that's been fun. But again, it's just two different workouts. Like, they can just go at it as hard as they can and just completely beat themselves up, where, we're working out hard and doing well, but we're not trying to completely tax ourselves where, which we still do, where, the next day it's, you definitely feel it. You're super, you're sore and stuff, but definitely more, towards the week. But absolutely, yeah, they definitely rival. He does a great job.
Have you even learned stuff from Coach Q that you didn't think that you needed to learn, being that he's got the experience that he has with, playing 42 games in the NHL, playing at such a high level for such a long time? Have you learned stuff from Coach Q this season?
Absolutely. And that's the cool thing is, I love it. I love learning. To hear him and listen to him, I think is incredible. I mean, the higher you go, it's the more information you have. And, it's that much more of, little details, like it's the game within a game. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I enjoy, I like listening and hearing and, definitely have, learned a lot. And so, it's really grateful, and it's very cool that, part of the group and being able to, teach and, what he has learned. And so it's a cool thing.
You've known Jersey for a while. He's younger than you, but he's your head coach. Have you told him at one point, Jersey, shut the hell up and let me play?
Oh, that would be the day. Inside, and I'm too soft to do that. I couldn't do it.
Oh, really?
He's too cool of a guy. He's great. No, the answer is no. No, I have not.
All right. I'll ask Jersey for sure if you've looked at him and said, I am your elder.
That's funny.
No. All right. One last question before I let you go. And this is obviously a question I ask people after January. What is the goal for this team?
Oh, come on. Really? There's no doubt about it. No, we are 100% is a championship.
Excellent.
That's it. That's it.
That's
all.
If you're not playing for that, what are you playing for, right? That's
you're telling me. No, yeah. That's it.
100%.
So again, I'm excited. I can't wait. And we're doing really well. So
absolutely. I think you guys will get off this little streak that you're on this weekend against the Indiana Sentinels. Gehrett, first of all, thank you very much for coming on. I will be honest, since I brought the show back 3 years ago, I've only been nervous on 2 interviews. Don Oliveri, who I'm sure you might know. Do you know Don? Hey, did you ever play against Don?
So I played against him, but it's funny. Have you ever seen the movie Replacements?
Yes.
So Columbus, before I went there, I went down there for a weekend, just to play, and the whole team had COVID. So they just brought in a bunch of random people for that weekend. And actually, Ollie was, one of those, players and guys that they brought in. And so actually we got a lot of time. We spent a lot of time that weekend actually there.
Well, he was the first guy, the only guy so far I've been nervous to talk with, and you were the second. So, but you guys have been absolute gentlemen, and Sherwood was right on both interviews that it would be great to talk to you. And so I appreciate you coming on, and I'm sure the fans probably loved it as well to get to know you a little bit more.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, Bob. You're doing an incredible job, and thanks for having me.
And we'll be right back right after this, right here on the Power Play Post Show.
If you're a Binghamton hockey fan, then you need to check out binghamtonhockey.net for all your news, stats, information, the Binghamton Hockey Hall of Fame, top 10 lists, profiles, and so much more. That's binghamtonhockey.net. You're listening to the Power Play Post Show.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Power Play Post Show. That was Gehrett Sargis. Fans, I hope you enjoyed it. I really, really do. I know Taylor hasn't listened to it yet, but she'll listen to it very, very soon. Right, Taylor?
Yeah, I can't wait. It's one of my favorite things to do. I skip past us because I don't need to listen to me and you talk again. Like we didn't just do that for an hour, however long it's been so far.
Can you please stop saying that to people? Because you said that in the beginning show. Oh, they're just going to skip ahead to the Sargis interview.
No, I can skip ahead. I'm allowed to. I don't need. I know what we talk about and what we say. I don't know the interview. That's the only part I don't know.
All right, fair enough. All right, support the Power Play Post Show by subscribing on YouTube. When you subscribe and like episodes, it signals to YouTube that hockey fans are engaging, which helps recommend the show to more viewers. As our community grows, we're able to deliver more interviews like the Gehrett Sargis interview, insights like we did earlier in the show, which you should have listened to, and hopefully you did, and hockey discussions, which is what this whole damn show is about. Subscribing and liking, yes, it is. Subscribing and liking is the most effective and completely free way to support the show. Join fellow hockey fans and support on YouTube, or subscribe on YouTube today. Okay, Taylor, it is time for the 11x14 player poster giveaway. Please tell the fans this week's special code phrase.
Back to back.
What? You can't use. Well,
Yeah.
I guess we are. Okay, fans. If you are the 12th person to message Taylor with the special code phrase back to back, you will win an 11x14 player poster of your choice. Winners get to choose from any current Black Bears player, and we'll deliver the poster at an upcoming home game. Send in that special code phrase and thank you for listening to the Power Play Post Show. And now let's do the preview with the Indiana Sentinels. But Taylor, one more time, what is that code phrase?
It is back to back, and as in back to back champions, not that we lost back to back games. Just to make that perfectly clear.
Boy, I forgot that we. Wow, I didn't think about that.
I forgot about it until it just came out of my mouth. So if that makes you feel any better.
Well, keep that in your mouth because we don't need that being put out there. So back to back, if you're the 12th person to message Taylor, you could win yourself an 11x14 player poster of any player on the Black Bears current roster right now. We'll include C-Mac and Zach Sirota and Tyson Kirkby, of course, as well, if you want them. But Taylor, let's preview the upcoming games against Indiana.
So previewing the Binghamton Black Bears and the Indiana Sentinels 2-game matchup this weekend. This is the third and fourth games of the season between the Black Bears and the Sentinels. The two teams met here in Binghamton back on November 7th and 8th. The Black Bears took both of these matchups by the score of 4-1 on Friday on the 7th and then 6-1 on Saturday the 8th. The Sentinels are on a 2-game winning streak, winning both games last weekend over the Topeka Scarecrows. On Friday, January 30th, the Sentinels got a 4-2 win in Topeka. Then on Saturday, January 31st, they secured a 5-3 win as well in Topeka. The Black Bears are on a 3-game losing streak, looking to bounce back this weekend. Last weekend, they lost both games to the Twin City Thunderbirds, losing Friday night 5-4 in overtime as Josh LaBelle scored the game winner, 3:53 into overtime. Then on Saturday, the Black Bears lost again at home to the Thunderbirds, a 7-5 final that did see Mac Jansen score 2 goals in the game. The Black Bears on the season are 35-1 with 89 points, have scored 185 goals, only allowed 89 goals to their opponents, and are in first place in the Empire Division. The Sentinels are 8-20-4 with 27 points, have scored 93 goals, have allowed 144 goals, and they are in 7th place in the Empire Division.
All right, so Taylor, I'll take it from here, but hopefully the Black Bears will hear more of this weekend. By the way, every time I hear that, I actually do the clap in my head or with my hands. I know it sounds silly.
You know what's funny is if we're at an away game, the fans still do that, the Ric Flair thing.
Do they really?
Yep. If there's a goal in an away game, there's always somebody that starts it, and sometimes it's Derek. Yep. And he's usually right on top of that. I don't know if they do it in Danbury. I don't think there's enough fans in Danbury yet.
That's pretty awesome.
But Watertown, they for sure do it in Watertown. If you get a goal, they do the 2 claps and Ric Flair. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. All right. The Sentinels are led by Ethan Esposito, 28 games played, 8 goals, 13 assists for 21 points. That is their top guy right now with 4 power play goals and 3 game-winning goals. Number 2 on their team is Ashton Colazzo, 26 games played, 5 goals, 16 assists for also 21 points, 1 power play goal, 1 shorthanded goal for Ashton. And Vladislav Pavlov, 29 games played, 5 goals, 15 assists for 20 points. Now, their top goaltender right now is John Werber. He's got 5 wins on the season, 10 losses, and 2 overtime losses. He's got a 3.86 goals against average and an .891 save percentage. Now, just to show how drastic of a difference it is, CJ Stubbs, 36 games played, has 28 goals, 42 assists for 70 points. 11 power play goals, 1 shorthanded goal, and 8 game-winning goals. Ivan Bondarenko has 36 games played, 10 goals, 52 assists for 62 points, and 1 power play goal. And the power play post-show interview jinx is off of Ivan, which is great. We're very happy about that. Gavin Yates, 32 games played, 21 goals, 32 assists for 53 points, 8 power play goals, and 2 game-winning goals. Dominic Tomei is 16-2-0 with a 2.10 goals against average and a .921 save percentage. And on the specialty teams, the Black Bears took a little bit of a hit on their power play and their penalty kill over the weekend, but they are still ranked first on the power play with 60 power play goals, 28% conversion rate. And on the PK, they're still ranked number 1, only giving up 19 power play goals against and an 89% kill rate, which is pretty awesome. And then the Indiana Sentinels, they are ranked 9th on the power play with 30 power play goals, which is exactly half of what the Black Bears have right now. They're converting 18% of the time. And on the PK, ranked number 11th with 34 power play goals against. The Sentinels are killing it 78% of the time. Again, Taylor, before we end the show, I think the Black Bears are going to respond very nicely going into this weekend and have 2 very strong games.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I mean, even with the sky falling this past weekend, we're still first in the power play and on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I really thought the world was going to end after this last weekend. Just the amount of outrage that was happening. It definitely, you would have thought that we went from first to last, honestly.
That is true. The sky seemed to be falling for some of the Binghamton Black Bears fans. Plus, I do want to say, listen, we have 185 goals scored. We're number one in the league. 89 goals against. Guess what? Number one in the league on that as well. So there is nothing to be worried about, fans. Our goal differential is 96. No one is even close to that. Monroe is a plus 86. So, and we don't even give up the most penalty minutes. So we're doing pretty good. We're going to be okay. I think it's going to be a good weekend. Right after the final game on Saturday, you guys are heading out on vacation, correct?
Yeah, we're staying for the jersey auction, just for everybody who was so upset about me not being there last time.
I was upset. I made such a big deal about it, and then she wasn't there.
It wasn't just you, trust me. There was a lot of people that were upset that I didn't do it.
Where's the numbers? We have to rely on secondhand knowledge, and how are we going to live without knowing these numbers?
So we will be there for the jersey auction, and then yes, after the jersey auction, we're driving straight through on to Florida. Really,
right from the game?
Yeah, right from the game. Yeah, we're ready to go and booking it out of there after that jersey auction. That's for
now, Taylor. You are going to miss 2 episodes of the Power Play Post Show, but this upcoming Sunday you are doing it from Florida, correct? Is that what we agreed on?
I assuming that we get to Florida in time. Yeah, that is the plan for right now. All things go swimmingly, then yeah. And honestly, he drives truck for a living, so we'll probably be to Florida before I even wake up in the morning. That's he very much he's a kind of person where if you're we're going here, he's gonna get you there.
Yeah.
There's been times we have driven through some shady stuff before. And the worst story was we drove, it was a 17-hour round trip for a plastic bumper. And we only went to Ohio for that. So it was crazy. We went through a snowstorm and everything. But he can get me through anything, and he's going to probably do most of the driving.
So we'll have you on this upcoming Sunday, and then the next 2 Power Play Post shows, it'll be just me, probably some guests that I'll interview, and then we'll get you back on the show the Thursday after you guys come back. Correct?
Yeah, I will definitely be here.
All right.
I would also just like to kind of point out, because I'm, an extremely sarcastic person, and sometimes people don't understand that you can absolutely be upset about the game or the outcome or whatever you want to be upset about, and you can talk about it. But just know that I am an extremely sarcastic person, and I like to make sarcastic comments about things, and some of those things might be some of the things that I have seen posted here and there.
But you're also very optimistic.
You're still listening.
But you're also very optimistic
extremely.
Too. You're very optimistic, and you think that every game that we go into, this team has a 100% chance to win.
Yeah, and I will continue to think that through and through. I truly believe that they could go against anybody and win.
Yeah.
And I think you could do that. You could throw them against some of the SP teams and they could win. And I'd even give them a chance against some of the ECHL teams and you could get a win out of them. I truly think that the amount of people on this team, the kind of mentality this team has, and the amount of talent on this team, everything that comes together and works with this team, I think it's a no-brainer.
I don't disagree with you. I really don't disagree with you. All right. The Power Play Post is available on all major podcast platforms. By the way, enjoy your vacation. No, seriously.
I am so looking forward to it. Jeremy looked at the weather and he goes, it's going to be 80 degrees there. He goes, it's going to be a 70-degree difference. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for that, but.
Where are you guys going in Florida, if I may ask?
I don't know the exact place. Whatever's close to Volusia. That's the racing we're going to is Volusia. I know he said that if he had known better or if he had thought about it better, that we would have stayed long enough to see the 500.
The Daytona 500.
He goes, I've always wanted to see it. And he goes, the one year I actually go to Florida, I don't remember it. And so
that's too bad.
His uncle goes to Volusia. I think they've gone, I don't know, probably the last 10 years. and they always ask him to go because they want somebody to DD, and he's never gone. So he's like, his uncle's all excited about him going this time, and he's excited, which, funny enough, outside of racing, the only thing that he is so excited to see is he wants to go see a manatee.
A manatee?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the exciting part is, that he's going to go somewhere to find a manatee. Oh, and to see an actual piece of the Titanic. He's very much a Titanic nut, and yeah, he's very as fat. Like, we went to the Titanic Museum in Tennessee. Yeah. And it's very cool in there. And we did the whole water challenge thing. I did not win. He definitely did. But I didn't last. I probably didn't last 30 seconds.
What is the water challenge? I don't know about this.
So as you're going through the museum part, there's this part that you walk through where they have water that stimulates the temperature of the water that these people were floating in. Oh. And you're supposed to, you dip your arm in there and you hold it in there for as long as you possibly can. Oh. Yeah, I did not go very long. I was like, oh, I got this. It's just cold water. No, it's freezing ice cold water. And yeah, it gets to you in a second. I'm glad it was only my arm, because I definitely wouldn't have lasted very long.
Well, you work very, very hard as a mom, as somebody who has a full-time job, and then, of course, putting up with me here on the Facebook, on the Power Play Post Show. So please enjoy your vacation. Once you get there this upcoming Saturday night, please just, kind of have a good time, and then come back to us refreshed, and we'll finish out the season.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that I don't, turn into a lobster while I'm down there. I do not tan. I have the skin compatibility of turning into a lobster and then going right back to whatever skin tone I was before that. So I'm hoping that, I either just avoid the sun, or it's going to be so weird to see sun every day for a week. I'm not going to know what to do. Yeah, I'm going to come back and be so happy because of all the vitamin D that we're getting. And everyone's going to be so sick of me when I come back, because I'm going to be so happy. You think I'm optimistic now? Just wait until I come back from Florida.
Oh, boy. All right. The Power Play Post Show is available on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. Just search Power Play Post Show on your favorite app, and please don't forget to subscribe, especially on YouTube. Join the conversation on Facebook. Search the Power Play Post Show and become part of our community. And be sure to like, comment, and share latest episodes with your friends. Looking for everything Binghamton Hockey? Visit binghamtonhockey.net, your go-to source for stats and everything Binghamton Hockey. Thank you to Rob Lepolis, our MC, John Petitucci, our musical director, who just dropped a new album with his band called Stained Red, and from the Binghamton Black Bears, Binghamton Black Bears forward, Gehrett Sargis. I am Bob Howard. She is
Taylor Welch.
And apparently I need a vacation. We'll talk to you guys next time right here on the Power Play Post Show.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Power Play Post Show. Be sure to tune in next week to the Box Studios Radio Network for all the latest Black Bears news and interviews from around minor league hockey. The Power Play Post Show would like to thank John Petitucci for all the music you hear on the show. You've been listening to the Power Play Post Show.